Hello, viewers. Welcome back. So, in the last session, we saw purchase entry, and I had to explain little in detail about the behavior of the purchase ledger and configuration. And the same thing applies for your sales also. And now we will see how are we going to pass a sale entry, and also we will see here in TallyPrime the capturing of your credit note due to material being returned by your customer. Okay, so we are selling to Power Solutions. So let's select the party POWR Power Solutions. So my party is already there. So I'm going to select the party. Now the sales ledger. So here again, we understood the implication of the common ledger, sales ledger, right? So we understood the relevance and importance of common ledger, and also without common ledger, under what scenario or under what circumstances that you need to enable or disable the common ledger. I'm sure that you are aware of that. Okay, so here if you see, there are two ledgers under my sales group. Okay, sales is basically for my inventory, and service charges is where we will see later on that how we can pass entry accounting invoice entry using the service charges without the inventory. Okay, so currently we will select sales. I'm going to select sales, and what is the item that I'm selling? So Dell laptop I3, I'm selling 5 numbers. The rate is 40,000. Enter. Then my second item that I'm selling is Dell laptop I5, 5 numbers again. My sale price is 60,000 each. The third item is Dell laptop I7, 5 numbers, 75,000 each. Then I'm selling Dell monitor 21 inches, 5 numbers, 9,000 each, my selling price. Okay, so it's all same way you entered your purchase. Just enter the quantity and the rate, amount will auto calculated, and it will not ask accounting allocation. Dell monitor 32 inches, 5 numbers, 30,000. Okay. Then my Dell laptop. See, if you notice here, now because we have made a purchase entry and the purchase voucher is already saved, Tally is now telling you what is the stock that you have. So while selecting the item itself, you will know whether you have stock of the item or no. Right? So we made the purchase of these item, 10 numbers each we purchased. So now it is giving you the quantity, available quantity it is giving you. And just in case little later we will also enable go down, and see how we use this go down for transfer, or when you are making a purchase you can decide in which go down you want to keep this material. So in that case it is also going to tell you go down wise what is the stock available when you are making an inventory entry. Okay, so it says 10 numbers each are there. Okay, so now I'm selling Dell monitor 35 inches, again 5 numbers here, and it is 50,000. Okay, 2,50,000. So this is my total. Okay, now I'm going to save this voucher. Okay, accept. So the voucher is saved. Now let us take the next use case. The use case is the Power Solutions who purchase material from us is now returning the material. Now, when he's returning the material, we have to record that in the voucher type of credit note. Okay. So first is how are we going to get the credit note here, right? So if you see on the right hand side button, you have a button called F10 other vouchers. Click on this. Tally is going to give you the list of other vouchers. In the other vouchers, you have credit note and also debit note. So you see here there is credit note. The keyboard shortcut is Alt F6 and debit note is Alt F5. So you can come to other voucher, come here, select credit note or debit note, or if you remember the keyboard shortcut, you can always use the keyboard shortcut. Let us say that I am not selecting credit note from the menu. I am able to remember that credit note is Alt F6. So I'm going to press Alt F6 and Tally is going to now give me the credit note. How do you know it's a credit note? See on the left hand side, there is this title which says what is the voucher type currently you are using. Okay. Again, the interface, if you see here, is going to be the same kind of an interface, the way you enter your purchase voucher, sales entry. Okay, the similar way it is giving you the credit. You also see the default ledger, which I had mentioned that the configuration will remain for all these four types of vouchers, right? So here, what is going to happen when you make a credit note? The inventory is now going to come into your organization. Okay, so which means the quantity of your inventory is going to now increase. Okay, so party. So I'm going to select my party is Power Solutions, who is returning the goods. Sales ledger, now you understand. So common ledger. What is the item that is returning? Dell laptop i3. He is returning one number. Okay, which I sold at 40,000 rupees. Okay, then he is returning Dell monitor also. Okay, which is one number which I had sold for 30,000. Okay, so these are the two items that my customer is returning on 2nd of June. Power Solution is returning the following goods, okay, which is defective. So Dell laptop one number and monitor one number. That is what we have captured here, right? And the date I need to change, just press F2. Automatically Tally will take you to the next date. The moment you press F2, it will automatically go to the next date. So you don't have to type anything, just press enter and accept. So now you see the date is 2nd of June. Okay, so you have made the credit note, enter, accept. Okay, so this is how you basically pass an purchase entry, sale entry, okay, and a credit note entry. Uh, Similarly, we can do the debit note entry also. That I will show you in the Tally ERP. So now we will go to Tally ERP and we will see what is the experience that we will have in capturing these transactions. Like I said, overall, there is no change in the way that you are going to capture your entry in TallyPrime or Tally ERP, except that the debit note, credit note, there is a slight difference where in Tally ERP you have to enable to get your debit note, credit note, whereas by default in Tally Prime you get the debit note, credit note get listed here, and if you want you can use this. You don't have to go and enable in the feature, unlike Tally ERP. So that's only change that you will see here between Prime and ERP. In any case, let's just go to Tally uh, ERP and then we will see how are we going to pass this entry. Let's now go to Tally ERP. So we are in Tally ERP. Here again, we had created all our inventory masters. Okay, so quickly for you to view your inventory master in Tally Prime, you will have to go to list of account, which is equivalent to chart of account in Tally Prime. So ERP, from gateway of Tally, you go to display, okay, and then you come to list of account, enter. Tally by default, we know it is giving you the list of ledgers. On the right hand side button bar, you will see stock item. When you click here, you're going to get the list of all stock items that we have already created with the main group, subgroup, and the item. So now we are going to make the purchase entry, right? So gateway of Tally, and here in transaction, if you see in ERP, we have accounting voucher and inventory voucher. So in the next session, we will discuss about the pure inventory vouchers, right? So currently we will use accounting voucher because I had mentioned earlier that we have to update our accounting book and also our inventory book. Okay. So we'll go to accounting voucher, right? So we are in the last saved voucher, which is your sales voucher. So before we now start entering the transaction, so we know that uh, there is going to be a purchase return. Maybe you might be returning some item that you have purchased which are defective to your supplier. Similarly, your customer could return the material. So when you return the material what you have purchased, we have to capture in debit note. And we saw earlier in TallyPrime that when the customer is returning the material, we are capturing them in credit note. Okay. So here, one difference that you have to remember, that if you see here on the right hand side, literally, all the voucher type buttons are available here on the right hand side. But if you carefully see, I don't know how many of you can see this. There is this credit note and debit note which is not enabled. That means it is grayed out. So that means I can't use this now. I can't click credit note, debit note. I can't use it. So you have to enable this under the feature. Only then you will have your credit note and debit note enabled for capturing the transaction. So how are we going to enable? You don't have to go to Gateway of Tally. You are in the voucher entry screen. So just press F11. And when you press F11, on the right hand side, you have this option which you have to go and manually make it yes in Tally.ERP. So use debit note, credit note, you will say yes. And now Tally is asking you, do you want to capture the debit note and credit note in the form of invoice? Okay. So it's much easier to capture in the form of an invoice. So you're going to say yes. And debit note also you want to capture in the form of an invoice. Okay. So that way, actually, you can take a printout of your debit note and credit note, and then, you can normally credit note is what you give it to your customer. Some clients also raise a debit note and then they give it to the uh, supplier so that they can pass a credit note based on our debit note. Okay, so I'm going to say yes, I have saved here. And now if you notice, the credit note and the debit note is enabled, so which means now I can go to credit note. My credit note is available here. Then I can go to debit note. My debit note voucher is also accessible by me, right? So now we will make a purchase entry. So here what we'll do is, in here we will take another example. So let's go to our uh, PPT. So this is going to be my another purchase of other items that I'm going to buy uh, from Computech on 1st of June, wide their invoice number 24. Okay, so these are the items that I'm going to buy. How are we going to record in Tally? Right. So we have come inside voucher. So I'm going to now say I want to make a purchase entry. So I'm going to click on purchase entry. Okay, so this is where my purchase invoices come. And here in Tally ERP, it is very easy, right? So there, in Tally Prime, if you want to change the mode, whether in item accounting or voucher mode. So we have to go to change mode, control H, and then we need to select what mode you want as an interface. Here it is very simple. So by default, by the time you are now familiar that the moment you see party name and the moment you see name of the item, that means this is item invoice. Now, if you want to convert into a voucher, you see on the right hand side button bar, again your secret number one, on the right hand side button bar, you get this option called as voucher. So you click here as voucher. This will get converted as voucher. How do you know? You will see this credit or two, which is there. So it means you are in the voucher mode, right? So if you want to do accounting invoice, like I said, we will see that in the next session. How are we going to pass an accounting invoice in Tally Prime and also ERP? So currently, if you want accounting invoice, you have this button accounting invoice, right? So now I want actually item invoice. So I'm going to click this, or I'm going to press Alt I, item invoice, right? So I'm going to click here as item invoice, and you will see this name of the item, right? So now again, the way you are going to capture, there is no difference between the way you have captured the entry in TallyPrime and in Tally.ERP, what you're going to capture. So if you see here, you have this supplier invoice number. So currently we will discuss all this. Here it is available here on the face of the voucher. In TallyPrime, it is available in the subscreen. So we will discuss that once we get into the taxation part. Okay. So if, since this is asking you the supplier invoice number, you know the supplier invoice number is 24. You enter here. We will discuss about the relevance and importance of capturing these information. Right. So party name, again it is asking you. So we are buying this from Computech, and these are the items that we are buying. Okay. So let's quickly pass the entry here. Okay. So I'm buying from Computech COM. So the Computech party is not available here. So now here is where you have to remember the keyboard shortcut. In TallyPrime, it was very simple. You had a create button on top where you can just take your cursor and create. But here you have to remember the keyboard shortcut, which is your Alt C. Press Alt C and type Computech. Okay, so this is the party name. Okay, sundry creditors. And again, here you don't have to type the starting. Any word you can type, Tally will automatically filter. So instead of typing sundry creditors, let me just type creditors. So automatically it selects the creditors. So any either the first word, middle word, or the last word, whichever word you just type, Tally will auto filter. Okay. So nothing else I have to do. I'm going to press Control A. So the party is created. So again, the common ledger, again, it is the same thing. If you want to bring the common ledger or if you want to disable the common ledger, you have F12 configuration and where you are going to enable or disable this thing. So here I'm going to select my purchase ledger. So what is the item that we are going to buy? So I have the list here. So let me just quickly capture HP laptop i3. We are capturing purchasing 10 numbers. What is the rate? 32,000, right? So amount. So again, if you notice here, there is no change in the way you are going to capture the entries in your purchase voucher. So 10 numbers, 52,000. Okay, then HP i7, 10 numbers, 65,000. Then HP monitor, 21 inches, 10 numbers. I'm buying at 7,000 each. Then HP monitor, 32 inches, 10 numbers. Again, I'm buying at 22,000 each. Then again, I'm buying HP monitor, 35 inches, 10 numbers at 46,000. Okay. Then Seagate 1.5 terabyte, 10 number, I'm buying at 4,000 each. Seagate. You will notice here that since we have made the purchase as a common ledger, it becomes much easier and faster for us to capture the transaction. 2 terabyte, again 10 numbers at 4,500. And the last item again we are buying is Seagate 4 terabyte, 10 numbers at 6,500. So this is how you capture the entry here, enter your narration, save it. Okay. So we have made the purchase entry, and now we have to, let us say you are returning the material now. When you are returning the material back to your supplier, we need to use a debit note voucher, right? So on 2nd of June, okay, so we are returning this following item to Computech, that is laptop i3, 2 numbers, and HP monitor 35, we are returning. So let's now pass this entry. Let us now pass this entry. So we need a debit note. We have already enabled debit note in F11 feature. Very important for you to remember. Okay. So click on debit note. So this is where your debit note is there. And then what was my original invoice under which I purchased? Invoice number 24, right? My debit note date is okay. In the last voucher also, we did not change the date. Okay, so very important to remember changing the date. So F2, right? So let's just quickly alter that. So this was my purchase invoice. So page up. Again, here you can press page up for your previously saved voucher. So I'm going to press F2 and I'm going to say 16. And here I'm going to just alter this to 16 so that our date is correct. Let's see whether it is 16. Yeah. Okay. So you can just press Control A to save the voucher. You don't have to press enter multiple times to save the voucher. Okay, so this is what our first entry that we made purchase on 1st of June. And now uh, there is this return of goods, which I am returning on 2nd of June, right? So we will come to, you will press Control F9 for debit note, right? So you come here and change the date to 26. Again, here, again, you will see that Tally will automatically take you to the next date. So original invoice number is 24. Okay, and the original invoice date was 16. Okay, the party's name is Computech, right? So again, your purchase ledger, what item are you returning? HP laptop i3. You are returning two numbers. Okay, so it is already picked up your uh, rate at which you are supplied. That is basically because you are referring the invoice. So from that invoice, it is going to pick up. Now, why did it not pick up in Tally Prime? Is because we have not captured the original invoice number, right? So once you capture your original invoice number, even in Tally Prime, it will automatically pick up your rate. So we will see that in the next session. We will see what are the other additional configurations that are required. Okay. So enter, and the next item is HP monitor 35. Okay, two numbers. Again, it is going to pick up your rate at which you have purchased. Okay, so this is how you pass your debit note. Similarly, again, it is very easy for you to make the sale entry, right? So you can actually, I'm going to give this in the description. So if some of you would want to do a practical exercise, you can use this, but the experience is going to be the same. So let me just quickly show you a sale entry also. So we have seen debit note, how to pass the debit note. The similar way you are going to pass the debit note in Tally Prime also. So let's come to my sale entry, right? Again, I'm selling this on 2nd of June. My date is 2nd of June as it is. I don't have to do anything. Only thing is now I have to change my voucher type. So F8 is my sales, right? So 2nd June. Now I'm going to come and then I'm going to sell to Swift Computers. Okay, so party is not there. You have to now remember that you have to press Alt C, type Swift Computers. Okay. Now this is under debtors. So type debtors, under debtors, Control A, my sales ledger. Okay, so what is the item that you are selling? HP laptop. I am selling C. If you notice here, we had purchased 10 numbers using our purchase voucher. And then we had returned the two numbers through our debit note voucher. So now it is giving you the net stock that is available, right? So net stock that is available with you now is now 8 numbers. So out of these 8 numbers, I am selling 5 numbers to this customer. Okay, my sale price is 40,000 per unit. Okay, then next is HP laptop i5, right? 5 numbers. I'm selling it at 60,000. Okay, then the next item is monitor, HP monitor. Okay, so 32 inches, 10 numbers. Again, you will notice here we had returned two numbers of HP monitor 35 inches. So the net stock here is 8. So 32 inches, I'm selling 5 numbers again. at the rate of 25,000. Okay, then again 35 inches monitor. I'm just typing 35. You see here it is automatically listing out all the name of the item where it has got this 35. So it becomes much more easier. The filter becomes much better. Okay. So now I'm using HP monitor 35, HP monitor 35. Out of 8, I'm now selling 5 numbers. 50,000. Okay, and then Seagate 2 terabyte. I'm selling 5 numbers at 5,000. Now here again, we know 4 terabyte is there. Just type 4. So it is going to give you the list of all fours which are there, different brand. So we are going to sell Seagate 5 numbers of 4 terabyte, which I'm selling at 7,000 each. Okay. Enter your narration, accept, save the voucher. So broadly, you must have seen that there is no major interface change between capturing your purchase, sales, debit note, credit note in Tally Prime or in Tally ERP. Okay. In the next session, we will discuss about what are these pure inventory entries and what impact it has on our books of accounts. Okay. So thank you very much for staying till the end. See you all in the next session. Thank you.